Okay, excellent questions. Let's keep them coming. All right, can anyone tell me what we use this for? That's right, this is how we collect our specimens. This is a net, and she's not a toy. She's I know she looks like a toy. She's not a toy, but she's an important part of the field equipment. No, she's not a toy. Wasps in the genus Ectemnius are distributed widely across the northern hemisphere. There are about 180 species worldwide and 27 species north of Mexico. Females nest in hollow borings in dead timber and provision their young with adult flies. In this video, we will take a closer look at 4 species from the subgenus Hypocrabro, the transcontinental Ectemnius continuus, 2 eastern species, Ectemnius decemmaculatus and Ectemnius arcuatus, and a western species, Ectemnius spiniferus. As previously mentioned, females provision their nests with adult flies. Flies are stung and brought to a hollow boring in a pithy stem or a decaying log. Several paralyzed flies are cached and an egg is laid on one of them. She then seals the space and begins to provision another cell. The story of the American species in this subgenus begins in 1804 in Keay Rd, Germany. There, Johann Fabricius completed his Systema Piazzatorum, which was his description of all known hymenopterans of the time. Among them was a European wasp he named Crabro continuus. Ectemnius continuus is a black wasp with yellow markings. This female, like all in her genus, sports an angular head often described as squarish. Continuus is distributed over the vast expanse of the northern hemisphere. Males share many characteristics of the females. They are smaller and appear to have a much reduced abdomen. This specimen from the west shows some brownish coloration on the legs and abdomen. As for size, continuus is average for the genus, a bit smaller than a worker honeybee. Females average from 9 to 11 millimeters and males 7 to 9 millimeters. 19 years after Fabricius, in 1823, the American naturalist Thomas Say, working at the University of Pennsylvania, described several new hymenopterans, including one named for the 10 yellow marks on its abdomen, Crabro decemmaculatus. Ectemnius decemmaculatus is found throughout eastern North America. It is slightly larger than continuus and has yellow markings over each of the first 5 tergites. The marks often connect in the middle. As for size, decemmaculatus is about the size of a worker honeybee. 10 to 13 millimeters is typical for females. 14 years after his description of decemmaculatus and 3 years after his early death, Say's description of another species was published, arcuatus. Ectemnius arcuatus resembles decemmaculatus for the most part, black body, yellow markings. The name arcuatus refers to the peculiar shape of the 6th antennal segment on the males. Males, as usual, are smaller and look similar to the females. An additional mark on their last abdominal tergite gives the males away. As for size, arcuatus is average for the genus, a little smaller than a worker honeybee, 10 to 12 millimeters for females and 9 to 11 millimeters for males. 58 years after Say, in 1895, William Fox, working at the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia, described a western species he named spiniferus. This is the male. Ectemnius spiniferus is limited to western North America. Its namesake comes from the 2 spines that jut out from the sides of its pronotum. In 1979, Richard Bohart and Lynn Kimsey, working at the University of California, Davis, revised the genus for the 27 species occurring north of Mexico. In this work, they provide an excellent key with accompanying illustrations and describe many unreported details. 7 of the 27 North American species of Ectemnius are pictured here. They range from about 6 to 16 millimeters. The 3 species from the subgenus Hypocrabro fall in the middle of the range for the genus. Facial differences are less noticeable. All species have a similar square-looking face with antennae that emerge from below the midline. Their clypeus is covered with a silvery oppressed hair, and it hides a variable shape, described as beveled. The key feature that differentiates between females of decemmaculatus and arcuatus is subtle. For decemmaculatus, the clypeal bevel projects toward you when looking at it face on. The bevel on arcuatus is much less pronounced outward. Since males and females are morphologically unique, you will need to follow a separate key for each of them, so make sure you know what you have. Females have a narrow, curved last abdominal segment called a pygidium. Males do not. The marks on their abdomens are helpful. For instance, both males and females of continuus lack any color on tergite 3, and the markings on maculosus are noticeably distant from one another. Among the more telltale features is the one separating male arcuatus from similar species. On the ventral surface of the first flagellar segment in arcuatus is a noticeable depression. Other species lack this. Well, that should get you started. Good luck. As always, a special thanks go to the internet resources that make these videos possible, including the Biodiversity Heritage Library, Discover Life, and Iowa State University's Bug Guide. Look for them online. Let's just leave it at that. She's not a toy. Forget about it.